Hey, what's up, Chris? This is a quick demo video for you for your Master OWK installed with a Goth Master chassis. This is the kit that you provided, so it had all the parts. I just went ahead and I wired it up for you. All right. I had mistakenly called this a Desert Wanderer earlier on my post, and somebody was quick to correct me. This looks almost identical to a Desert Wanderer, I think, but I'm not sure. The only differences would be the Desert Wanderer has the steel emitter, and I think that it has a little bit shorter of a neck. I'd have to compare the two. The chassis, however, is the exact same that you would find on the Desert Wanderer. In fact, I think I did an actual Desert Wanderer for Elvis on our Saber meetup trip, and it was the same chassis. All right, but this is a 2-button setup. This little guy right here is going to be your power. The bigger cog right here is going to be your auxiliary switch. And then how to get to your chassis, you just want to unscrew your pommel. All right, so we're going to unscrew this. I got it on pretty tight. I'm going to take this off right here. Try not to drop it. You'll see your chassis right here. Just carefully just pull it straight out. All right, and this is what you've got. So we'll kind of zoom in on this. You're the one actually that did all the weathering on the chassis, and it came out really nice. This is a way different technique than what I use. I'm not sure what you did, but it looks very cool. So you brought out all the details, just the right touch, in my opinion, of weathering, but still keeping it a very nice brass chassis. So you've got your OLED screen over here. Moving over here, you have your crystal chamber. This door is on a magnet, so if you can get your fingernail in there, which can be kind of hard to do, but you can flip that open. That will expose your crystal chamber. So you've got your crystal in there. You've also got your rotating plasma gate that I'll show you works here in a second. And then the magnets down at the bottom hold this closed if you don't want it open. All right. Moving down here, this is your battery compartment. So you just flip this open. This too is held down with magnets. So you can see the 2 magnets on either side of your kill switch there. And then of course your battery. This is actually my battery. I'm not going to be sending this with the Saber. This is my test battery, but I've got it in here for now. And then you just close it like that. All right. Flipping it around over here, you've got a KR Sabers 28mm speaker. You've got some really nice greebly work over here in the chassis from Rick. But then you've got a 10-pixel accent strip right here. And you've got another 10-pixel accent strip over here on the other side. So each sound font has 4 blade styles. For now, there is just one sound font on here. I believe this is Kyberphonics OWK 3. Let me know if you have it already and you want to keep it, or if you don't want it, I'll take it off. Or if you want it and don't have it, you want to pay Jesse, we can do that too. All right. But 4 blade styles. So it will go in this order if you ever change anything. And there is a copy of the config file on the SD card. The first blade style will be your main blade. The second blade style will be these 2 strips right here. They are wired together. So that's the second blade style. Your third blade style is your actual crystal, and your fourth and final blade style is the actual code for your motor. So no matter what you do, you'll probably leave that one alone. All right. If you want to slow the motor down, actually, you can mess with the white value. The lower the white value, the slower the motor will go. All right. Coming over here. Here's your board. So this too is a board cover. It flips open and it's held on with a single magnet that's right here. I did put a 5 LED strip on top of your board, and then I put just a little bit of some electrical tape over the solder joints of the LED strip. They were riding pretty close to the edge of this board cover for me. It was making me nervous. So I did put just a small piece of tape over that. All right, so this strip right here is wired to the same pads as your 2 strips over here. So these 2 and this strip right here, they will act the same. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this guy on. We'll come over here and flip the switch. So you've got my boot up animation on the actual OLED screen there. I think it's, whoops, upside down. It goes like this. If my camera wants to focus, it's a little hard to focus on OLED screens, but you've got your crystal pulsing. I've got your 2 LED strips doing a slow scroll, and the same with your board. All right, until we come over here and we turn it on. And I've got your 2 strips going faster, which means this strip over here will go faster. And we can flip this guy open and look at your spinning plasma gate. All right, just gotta get your fingernail underneath there and zoom in on that guy. As you can see, your plasma gate's working like it should. We'll shut that down. I gave you a little added animation here when the Saber's actually on. And of course your stock Neopixel or your NPXL right here is lit up like it should be. All right, so we'll flip it off. When you put this in the Saber, be very careful. I've gone through and I've backed out the housing that this screw sits in, because a common thing that happens when people install these, if you don't do that, is the first time you put the chassis into the Saber, you'll shave one of these tactile switches right off. So I've done that a few times. So I've gone through, I put this at the right height where it needs to be. Everything should be fine. But when you go to put this in, line up your switch PCB right here with those 2 switches. All right. It's only going to go in one way. If you try to go in like this, it's only going to go in that far. But if we line up those switches with our plunger switches, it'll push in all the way. All right, and then we can come over here and we can put our pummel on it. And when you put this pummel on, lock it down all the way. This is what locks the chassis forward into the blade side PCB that you have right here, so that when you hit power, you get light in your emitter. All right, so power right here, we can turn it off, turn it back on, and then auxiliary right here. And we'll twist it off. It is set up for a full-length blade, but I'm going to use my test blade, and obviously I've got the emitter on here that allows for some extra blade depth. Your other emitter is right here in your box. So all of your parts that I didn't use or extra, or your coin, your challenge coins, everything is right here in the box, and it will go out with the Saber. All right, so when we put a blade in here, and this is your second stock NPXL, by the way. So when we put a blade in here, you actually have 3 blade retention screws on this emitter add-on. I'm just going to use 1 for now, because I'm not going to swing this around too tough. I'm just going to really show you that it works. But they're all evenly spaced right underneath this lip. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, so, but this does light up a blade well. Of course, you're already familiar with Proffie, but I like to go through it anyway. Blaster bolt deflex is just tapping auxiliary. Blade lockup is holding auxiliary down and hitting the Saber. And of course, when you're vertical, you'll see it right here. And on a full-length blade, when you go horizontal with it, that blade lockup moves towards the middle of the blade. All right. And playing your soundtrack is a long press on the power.
Obiwan Kenobi.
That is the auxiliary. Long press on power. There we go. And it's the same thing to turn it off. Just do a long press and it turns it right off. All right, so we're going to go ahead and break this guy back down. I have to guess which one of these 3 blade retentions I used. I got lucky. I guessed it on the first try. So we're going to take that out. We're going to come over here. You do not have to take the chassis all the way out of the Saber to turn it off or on, but we're going to go ahead and do that anyway. Although I do have your LEDs on a timer, I made them go a little bit longer than I typically would, just because there's so much going on this chassis. I wanted you to have a chance to play around with it and really see what was going on. All right, but if we turn it on from here, and we come over here and we flip our kill switch, which is right here, it cuts power just like it should. All right, and that is basically your Master OWK with Goth Master chassis. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will get this out in the mail to you first thing Monday morning. Thanks, Chris.